Xiaji was a total straight guy, but he chose to work as a bartender at a gay bar, simply because it was the only part-time job he could find near campus. However, more than a year had passed, and he remained as straight as an arrow, completely unaffected by all the guys around him. Whenever someone hit on him, he just had to put on a girly voice and say sweetly, "But I'm a bottom who can't talk," and he'd successfully dodge that bullshit, because 90% of the guys who came to this bar were bottoms. Until one day a devastatingly handsome man walked into the bar. The moment he entered, the whole bar went wild. Even though Xiaji was straight, he was still mesmerized by that thing. Blushing, he whispered to the man, "First time here. Hope you have fun." The man looked at Xiaji with an amused smile. Customers kept coming up to ask for the man's number, but he never gave them a second glance. Just stayed at the bar counter. Xiaji wondered, was this gorgeous guy just here for the free wife? Until Xiaji handed over the man's 10th drink. When the man took the glass, he brushed against Xiaji's finger. Xiaji jerked back like he'd been electrocuted, quickly pulling his hand away. The man acted like nothing happened, just smiled at Xiaji. Xiaji's brain short. Could this gorgeous guy actually be interested in him? But he was straight, so he nervously retreated to the other end of the bar, pretending to wipe down tape. The man handed back his empty glass again, with a thick stack of cash underneath. Xiaji's eyes lit up. That's way too much of a tip. But then, he thought about it. Tips this big usually come with strings attached. Looking up, he saw the man staring right at him. Xiaji's heart started racing, and he panicked, shrinking into the corner of the bar, thinking about how this cold beauty had rejected so many people, but only had eyes. He felt kind of flattered. Too bad he was straight, destined to disappoint this beauty. After calming down, Xiaji stood up trying to look composed, put on his girly voice and walked over. "Big brother, I can't be cute." But the man leaned in close to Xiaji and whispered, "I'll take care of that." Xiaji's first reaction was, "Oh my, is this really happening?" But he quickly realized something was wrong. How could he be thinking like this? Had he been bewitched by the man's looks? So he turned away, refusing to look at the man, but still couldn't help sneaking another peek at him. Curved eyebrows, a fox-like face, and when he smiled it was absolutely captivating. Xiaji fell under his spell again. He slapped himself hard. "Hit it together. Don't be fooled by his looks." That's what he told himself. But the truth was, tempted by both money and beauty, he ended up taking the tip. Xiaji followed the man out of the bar in a daze. Maybe it was the cool night air that brought back some of his sense. When the man led him to the car, he finally found the courage to tell the truth. "Listen, I'm actually straight. I was wrong to deceive you." But the man didn't believe Xiaji was straight, and kissed him direct. Xiaji's eyes went wide. But he tripped on the steps. Aaron crashed to the ground. He immediately looked back at the man warily. The man was about to help him up, but seeing Xiaji's expression, he stayed where he was. Xiaji stumbled away, while the man watched his retreating figure, his eyes unreadable. Back in his dorm, Xiaji lay on his bed, still shaking. His heart was still pounding. He never expected that his first kiss, saved for 20, would be stolen by that fox. What scared him most was that he got turned on. He rushed to the bathroom for a shower, undressing while trying to comfort himself. There was no need to dwell on this. After tonight he wouldn't go back to that bar, and he'd never see that man again. So he just pretended it never happened. Just as he said that, something fell from his pants pocket. Looking at the tip money scattered on the floor, Xiaji's heart sank. How could he forget to return the money? What made it even worse was that since that night, he'd been dreaming about kissing that man for several nights in a row. He was going crazy. So during a break from volunteering at school, he called his best friend. After rambling for a while, his friend came to a conclusion. "Xiaji, you might be gay." Xiaji jumped up. "I'm not buying your nonsense." Just then he heard his teacher's voice nearby. Xiaji looked up and saw his teacher leading a research team toward him, and the team leader was none other than that fox-faced man. He couldn't let the man see him, but he slid and tumbled down the steps one by one. With a series of pain, he successfully landed right in front of the man, with one hand still gripping the man's leg tightly. When the man saw who it was, his eyes lit up. But Xiaji had only one thought. "I want to move to another planet." The young man kept insisting he was straight, but when the man kissed his cheek, his hands and feet were... The man reached out to help Xiaji up. Xiaji was about to take his hand, but suddenly remembered, got up on his own, covered his butt and ran away. The man didn't seem embarrassed, his gaze following Xiaji as he ran off. This scene puzzled the teacher. Shen Ying had never been so enthusiastic about anything. In the bathroom, Xiaji leaned his head against the wall, tears streaming. He'd just made a complete fool of himself. Then he heard footsteps. His nemesis had followed him like a persistent. Running now would be too obvious. So Xiaji tried to look calm and pressed himself against the wall, staying frozen even when the man walked right up to him, though his eyes secretly glanced down. Half a second later he muttered and walked away. "Ah, show off much." "Little Shasha." The man's voice came from behind. Xiaji turned around and glared at him. "Don't call me little Shasha. My name is straight like straight guy." He thought he'd made his hint clear enough, but the man just leaned close to his ear without missing a beat. "I'm Shen Ying." Xiaji decided to stop pretending. He wanted to clear things up with Shen Ying right here. After checking all the stalls, to make sure no one else was in the bathroom, Xiaji slammed the door shut. At the same time, Shen Ying's hand reached over to helpfully turn the lock cock. Xiaji found himself trapped in Shen Ying's arms, with the man's magnetic voice in his ear. "Little G, you can do whatever you want." Xiaji steadied his racing heart and pulled out the tip money from his pocket. In his mind, once he returned the money to Shen Ying, they'd be even. But Shen Ying said he didn't want it. As they were at a stand, they suddenly heard keys jingling outside, and two men walked in. At that moment, in one of the stalls, Xiaji was trembling in Shen Ying's arm. He didn't want to be so close to Shen Ying, but the stall was just that small. He frantically covered Shen Ying's mouth, begging him not to make a sound. But Shen Ying licked his palm, making Xia Ji quickly pull his hand back. He must be crazy to panic and lock himself in with this devil. Hearing the people outside leave, Xia Ji hurriedly opened the door, ready to make his escape. But Shen Ying grabbed him back. Shi Ji was trapped between the door and Shen Ying's body. Shen Ying looked fierce, so Shi Ji immediately, listen, I didn't mean to deceive you. I really am straight. Shen Ying founded it more. He moved closer to Xia. Then let me test that for you. His eyes immediately darkened. Xia Ji was too scared to move. The next second, Shen Ying wrapped an arm around his waist and planted a kiss on his cheek. Xia Ji's face turned bright red. His hands and feet went numb. When the tip money slipped from his hands, he snapped out of his daze. Shen Ying quickly caught all the bills, but stuffed them back into Xia Ji's pocket. While brushing against Xia Ji's waist, he really didn't understand what Shen Ying was doing. Don't touch my waist. And this money is yours anyway. What am I, a bank? Does keeping it with me earn Shen Ying didn't explain. Just took a phone call and headed for the door. Xia Ji wanted to argue with Shen Ying some more, but was stopped by a senior. I've been looking for you forever. The venue side hop is about to start. Take these things over there. 对了, I just saw you walking behind that tall, handsome guy. So tonight you'll be responsible for taking the team to the hotel. Xia Ji dragged the supplies toward the venue while crying inside. Senior, you're pushing your junior down the wrong path. In the venue, Shen Ying immediately drew everyone's attention when he stepped onto the stage. He wasn't just good, but also mature and composed when speaking, giving off an aura of complete trustworthiness. Xia Ji was once again captivated by Shen Ying's excellence, while his classmate beside him had a totally smitten expression. Wow, such a mysterious heartthrob. Hearing this made Xia Ji scratch at his desk. Mysterious, my butt. He's clearly a male. The female classmate suddenly remembered that Xia Ji was in charge of this handsome guy, and begged Xia Ji to help her get Shen Ying's WeChat, and if possible, take some close-up photos. Hundreds of girls in the group chat were waiting to see that. Looking at his female classmate's infatuated expression, Xia Ji really wanted to tell her that Shen Ying was gay, but just thought about it. He couldn't even bear to look at the sparkle in the girl's eyes, and reluctantly said he'd try his best. That night, Xia Ji was asked to take Shen Ying's team back to the hotel, but when he went to pick, only Shen Ying was left. The innocent little kitten was being played by the old fox, going further and further down the wrong path. Walking alone with Shen Ying, Xia Ji felt very anxious. Shen Ying to walk fast. When getting in the taxi, he chose to sit in the front passenger seat. He wasn't about to sit in the back with a devil like Shen Ying, but Shen Ying was just so good. Xia Ji couldn't help stealing glances at him through the mirror. Shen Ying had long noticed Xia Ji's peek, but pretended not to, actually enjoying being watched by Xi Zhang. They quickly arrived at the hotel arranged by the school. When getting out, Xia Ji asked the driver for a receipt. Shen Ying was a bit. If Xi Zhang was so short on money, why wouldn't he accept his money? Xia Ji's answer was that the money wasn't rightfully his. Hearing this, Shen Ying stopped walking. He suddenly leaned close to Xia. You can make it rightfully yours. Shen Ying kept getting close, forcing Xia Ji to back away, until he was pressed against the wall. He stomped on Shen Ying's approaching foot, stammering. Listen, I don't do that kind of business. Shen Ying started his game. I don't do that business either, but I want to kiss you. The one during the day counts. Deducted from the tip. When it's all used up, I'll stop bothering you. That way you make money, and don't lose anything. Didn't you say you're straight? Then at least prove it to me, and prove it to yourself too. Xia Ji was confused by the logic, and actually thought it made some sense. But he didn't agree right away, saying he needed to think about it. But the next night after he dropped Shen Ying off at the hotel, Shen Ying suddenly dragged him to a small corner next to the hotel, and kissed him dominantly. The tea session until some girls nearby gasped in surprise. He snapped back to reality. Shen Ying then buried himself in Shen Ying's eye. Shen Ying looked toward the source of the sound, with a trace of blood still on his lip, combined with his cold stare, scared the girls into running away. When he looked back at Xia Ji was already making fuss. I haven't agreed yet. How could you do that? Shen Ying wiped the blood from his lip with his finger. I had to get a taste first. You've got quite a bite. Xia Ji threw his kitty punches. So you were sampling the goods. Then this one definitely counts. Shen Ying immediately agreed. Seeing Shen Ying's big smile, Xia Ji realized he'd been tricked. But if he didn't agree, wouldn't he be taken advantage of for nothing? So reluctant, he grudgingly agreed. That night Xia Ji analyzed his situation to his best friend. His friend had always thought Xia was naturally gay, but when he heard the foxman's name was Shen Ying, it sounded somehow familiar, though he couldn't quite place it. The next day the wound on Shen Ying's mouth caught his teammate's attention. Shen Ying explained it was from a little kitten bite, while meaningfully glancing toward a certain spot, where the little kitten himself was standing. Xia Ji grabbed his drink and walked away, muttering about that damn little kitten comment. That afternoon the little kitten was cold. The little cat happened to have something to say. You kissed for so long last night. We can't just count the time. We gotta charge by the second. The old fox was teasing the kitty. Keep time from now on. The little cat showed her claw. How can you prepare a timer for this kind of thing? Shen Ying calmly stroked his chin. Then last night counts. She glared at Shen with gritted teeth. As if saying, if you don't make it 100, I'll take you out right here. Shen Ying calmly looked Shi Ji up and down. Then let's make it 150. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Xia Ji immediately lower his head. His whole body was shaking. Listening carefully, you could hear giggling sounds. Turns out the little cat was laughing. The little cat was too. Shen Yi couldn't help but reach out to ruffle the little cat's head. Just then the little cat suddenly. Shen Yi quietly pulled his hand back. You can't do this on the street. In broad daylight it looks so bad. Then I'll take you to a hotel. So when Xia Ji stood in Shen Ying's hotel room, he was still in a dazed loop. He really couldn't figure out, how did things turn out this way? The little kitty's neck got completely mauled by the old fox. When lying to his senior about beaten by a wild dog, he got caught red-handed by the old fox. In the room, Shen took off his jacket, went to the wine cabinet and got a bottle of red wine. Xia Ji wouldn't fall for the old fox's trick. He figured the guy definitely wanted to get him drunk. Then do this. Plus he had low alcohol tolerance anyway. Pretty much one glass and he'd be when Shen was about to pour him wine, he firmly refused. Shen Yi obviously knew what Xie was worried about, so he got Shi a glass of plain water instead. Just when he leaned over to hand Shi the water, he deliberately exposed a large patch of chest muscle. Shi got all flustered by those muscles. His eyes glued to Shen Yi's body, which caused him to accidentally spill water on Shen Yi's hand when taking the glass. That's when he snapped back to reality. He quickly grabbed tissues to hand to Shen Yi, but saw Shen Fu stretch out his hand like some big shot. Well, he was in the wrong here. Shi held Shen's hand and slowly wiped. Shen's hands were really nice. Well-defined now. You could tell at a glance they belonged to someone Pan. He rolled up Shen Yi's sleeve a bit, which revealed a small piece of tattoo on his arm. Xia Zhu's eyes suddenly went wide. Shen Yi saw this and started taking off his shirt. I'll show you the whole thing. Xia Zhu quickly grabbed Shen Yi's collar tight. What if this guy charges a V? Or has some other bad idea? Shen took the chance to grab Shiji's hand, his voice low. Time to pay your debt. With that, he suddenly pressed Shiji down on the nearby sofa. Xia Ji got all confused from the kissing when he saw the hand suddenly slide onto his waist. His eyes shot wide open, panicking and trying to get up. Shen held down Shiji's squirming body, leaned down to his ear and whispered, 500. Obedient like a piece of meat on the chopping block. During this time, he saw the tattoo on Shen Yi's chest. He leaned closer, finally took a bite right on the tattoo. Shen grabbed Xie Ji's tea. You don't plan on going home today? Xie Ji realized he was adding fuel to the fire. He hurriedly pushed Shen. Or got up and was about. Shen Yi let Xie Ji push him away. But before Xia Ji ran out of the room, he still asked, Want to stay? I can let you have the bed. Xia Ji didn't look back. He wasn't stupid. Who knows if Shen meant give it to him, or give him half of it? In the car, Xia Ji's tense nerves finally relaxed. Though this time Shen Dai was a bit dangerous. But thinking about knocking off 500 at once, he still thought it was worth it. Well, just then, the driver suddenly winked at him. Young man, your girlfriend's purse. Look at that neck. Xia Ji quickly opened his camera and pointed it at his neck. Did that old fox gnaw on him like Jack neck? How's he gonna face people tomorrow? So the next day Xia Ji had a bandage around his neck. Facing his senior's questioning will, he stubbornly explained. I accidentally got bitten by a wild dog yesterday. I thought you fast. Just broke the skin a little. His senior reminded Xia Ji to get a rabies shot. Then looked behind Xia Ji. Oh, Mr. You've been standing here for a while. Do you need help? Hearing this, all of Xia Ji's hair stood up. He nervously turned around, saw Shen Ying with an expression he couldn't read. Nothing much. Heard Xiao Ji got hurt, so came to check. Just heard about needing a rabies shot. I happen to be free. Let me take him. But Xia Ji was about to cry. In the car, Xia Ji quickly glanced at Shen Ying, emphasized that he can't bite his neck. Shen Ying played word games again. So everywhere except the neck is okay. As he spoke, he reached out to touch Xia Ji's earlobe. Ji panicked and grabbed Shen Yi's hand. Don't go too far. Shen Ying dropped his domineering attitude. His whole demeanor softened. Don't be scared. I just want to see how bad the bite is. Then unwrapped the bandage around Xia Ji. There was hardly any good skin left on Xia Ji's neck. Shen Ying's eyes lit up. While stroking Xia Ji's neck, he leaned closer. Xia Ji blushed and warned. You just said you wouldn't touch my neck. But the old fox wanted to go back on his word. Since it's already bandaged up, a little more won't matter. Xia Ji's whole body was resisting. No way. Don't even think about it. Little Kitty wanted to fulfill the girl's wish. But the camera flash nearly blinded him. Xia Ji picked up the bandage from the backseat. But this soggy thing was really gross. Seeing this, Shen Yi immediately opened the car door and got out. Where are you going? But Shen Ying only left him with a cold bag. Soon Shen Yi came back with bandages. Xia Ji felt warmth in his heart. So the old fox went to the pharmacy. But the old fox did. Instead, he leaned down to the car window and asked Xia if she was hot. Xia said irritably, try wrapping your neck in the middle of sun. So Shen Yi walked away again after hearing that. Xia just sat in the car looking confident. Did he say something too harsh just now? Soon a pink ice cream was handed to him. Xia Ji's eyes lit up as he took the ice cream. He had this brand before at a classmate's birthday. Ate this brand. The taste was amazing. After that, he could only drool over it in his dream. He carefully took a lick. Instantly felt purity. He quickly licked a few more times, but noticed Shen Yi staring at him longingly. The little kitty pulled the ice cream hand back. You gave it me, so it's mine now. No steal. Shen Ying said in a low voice, I don't eat that stuff. Little did he know the other wanted to eat him. Xia Ji ate the whole way. Shen watched the whole way until they got out of the car. Xia Ji was still licking his fingers, savoring the taste, and his opinion of Shen Yi changed a bit. This guy didn't seem so bad to him after all. While he was lost in thought, Shen Yi had already come in front, reached out and touched the corner, then put it in his own mouth for a taste. So, you have. Just then someone behind them called out Shao. Xia Ji turned around in panic. The fangirl and his senior were walking toward them. To thank the volunteers for their hard work these past few days, his senior decided to treat everyone. Xia Ji said he'd be there on time. After all, getting a free fancy meal made him pretty happy. But Shen Yi wasn't happy. After the girls walked, he leaned close to Xia Ji, breathing hard. You like one of them? She covered his burning red ears and jumped 8 meters away. They all had boyfriends. What are you talking about? But the old fox's response, are you liking her? And her having a girlfriend? Is there a car? Xia Ji's worldview exploded on the spot. He came to the BBQ restaurant. Looking at the table full of delicious, he instantly turned into a foodie. The fangirl nudged Xia Ji's arm. How's that thing I asked you about before? Xia Ji froze. He totally forgot about this. Good thing his lying skills were maxed up. Mr. Shen doesn't add strangers on. What about photos? Don't tell me you forgot to take. If you couldn't do this either, it'd be really inexcusable. Xia Ji reluctantly agreed to send photos tomorrow. The fangirl happily put her hands together at Xia Ji. You're my savior. But Xia Ji was Semi-versa. That evening, Xiaoju sneakily followed behind Shen. About hundreds of eager girls, whales, waiting. He got in Shendi's car for the first time and had his excuse ready. Let me tell you, when the school strongly requires Bob to escort the visiting team to the hotel entrance, Shen didn't care if it was true. If the little kitty didn't come find it, he'd go catch the little kitty anyway. While Shen was focused on driving, aimed it at Shenfu and gently pressed the shutter. But the camera's sound was loud, and the flash was bright. This was really freaking out. Shen Ying also wanted to play along with Xie, but in the end he couldn't help bursting into laughter. Xie just went off, asked Shen to cooperate for a few photos. He'd even pay. Shen Ying was surprisingly cool. Back to the hotel, you can photograph. Xie wasn't scared at all. He'd been here before anyway. But after Shen walked into the bathroom, his legs started shaking uncontrollably. Remembering last time when Shen depressed him on the sofa and went at it, he suddenly felt parched. He had chugging water to calm down. The little kitty and old fox were making out near campus. Got caught by the fan girl, who immediately said, "I'll keep your secret." Xiaoji drank too much water, really needed to use the bathroom. So the moment he heard the water stop in the bathroom, he rushed over and pushed open the door. Shen stopped wrapping the towel. He chuckled softly, lifted the towel facing Xiaoji's head, satisfied. Now Xiaojai cursed in embarrassment. I just really needed the bathroom. Then pushed Shen Dai out with a red face. When he finished and came out, what greeted him was Shen Dize, and that huge tattoo. While finding it attractive, he also felt a bit scared. This guy couldn't have some serious background. Just then Shenfu gestured to Sha. Come here. Shen Ying sounded deep. What are you scared of? Xiaoji bristled. Who's scared? He shakily walked up to Shen Yi. Shen Ying pulled Xiaojai onto his lap, then removed the bandage from the kitty's neck. During all this amount, Xiaoji maintained his last bit of sanity. When he woke up again, it was the next morning. He sat up in panic, did a full body check before breathing a sigh of relief. At least he was still intact. He started pretending to sleep, but ended up actually falling asleep. To avoid the upcoming awkwardness, he planned to sneak out first. But as soon as he moved, Shen Di's hand landed on his thigh. He did a tactical lean back, fell right onto the floor, but he didn't dare make. Squirmed like a caterpillar all the way to the bathroom. Little did he know the person on the bed close was already smiling slightly. Xiaojai dawdled in the bathroom for a while. When he came out again, Shen Yi was already dressed, sitting on the sofa with his laptop handling work. When Xiaoju walked over, Shen suddenly reached up and touched the corner of Shaji's mouth. Jumped like a startled cat. What do you want now? Shen smiled and showed Shiji what was on his finger. Xiaoju instantly died. How did he get toothpaste on his face? On the way back to school, Xiaoju was tapping away on his calculator. Last night counts as 1,000. You got no Shen Yi's face stood. Since Shen wasn't talking, Shiji took it as agreement. So up until now, he was pretty pleased with himself, totally oblivious to the low pressure next to him. The car stopped at the school. Xiaoji got out happily, thinking he'd almost paid off his debt. He even did a little dance. Suddenly his hand got grabbed. Shen Ying held Xiaoji's face without a word and went for it. After it ended, Xiaoji looked at Shen Yi with his heart pounding. No matter how many times he looked at this face, it still took his breath away. Shen looked at Xiaoji's dazed expression, smiled. Half a second later came the sound of a cup hitting the ground. Both turned around at the same time.